What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. So I was reading here lately on fadeawayworld.net, just checking out the sites and seeing what's new out there. And I see that there was a mention that Paul George has spoke on Kawhi Leonard's behalf. And Paul George had some really, I would say, uplifting words to say about Kawhi Leonard in regards to his recovery, his health, and everything. And, you know, the report says, and in regards to what Paul George mentioned, Paul George says, as of right now, working out with Kawhi Leonard and everything, looking at him and, you know, seeing where he is, he looks like he's in mid-season form. And you know something, if that's actually true, that is very, very positive for any Clippers fan to hold their hat on, because you want to really have an idea, or you want to know exactly where Kawhi Leonard stands in regards to his health, because his health is a big thing and it's a big part of their future in regards to winning a championship and even more. So when hearing that from Paul George, definitely is exciting to hear, definitely very informative, and definitely good news, I would say, because, you know, Kawhi Leonard is, you know, the key. He's the guy, and he's one of the top players on the planet when he's healthy, as I said before. And when he's healthy, he's really unstoppable. He is unstoppable. There is no really. He is unstoppable when he's healthy. And see, that's exactly what Clippers fans want to see, 100% or as close to 100% healthy Kawhi Leonard as you can get, because if he's that, then everybody's going to have a problem in the NBA stopping the Clippers, because Paul George is healthy, you know, and Kawhi Leonard is healthy. You know, those two guys, those two wing players right there, play defense and they play offense, except, you know, Kawhi is a better player overall because he's just more dominant on both sides of the floor. And on defense, I mean, really, he's probably the best two-way player in the league, if you want to look at it that way. Some may argue, but I think he's the best two-way player in the league. But with him being healthy, and if he looks in mid-season form right now, I mean, I definitely still want the Clippers, you know, take their time with him, you know, however he feels, go with that, you know. If he can't start right at the beginning of the season, if he could start within, you know, 10, 15 games in or a little bit less, that would be great, you know, to get his rhythm going, because he'll still have 60, 70 plus games to get a rhythm with the team, get his rhythm going and everything. So it's not dire need that he starts the season right away, like game one of the season, but it would be great to see, because I really am anticipating seeing, just anticipating seeing him play again, because, you know, watching Kawhi at a high level is really enjoyable for me, because I'm definitely a fan of his, you know, and he's definitely my favorite player. And I definitely want to see this team do good, because they have an opportunity to do a lot of great things, as I said in many of my videos. And you've heard me say it a lot, because I really believe it. But at the same time, they have to, you know, actually live up to that. And they have opportunity to do it this upcoming season. And like I said, if PG says Kawhi Leonard's in mid-level form, mid-season form, then I mean that's very encouraging news, because, you know, everybody else seems to kind of, you know, give a little something, kind of like riddles here and there, like, oh, Kawhi's doing good, he's doing great, he looks good, but nobody really kind of gives you like the real like analysis or something like that of how he's really doing. So I feel like this is the closest or the best analysis of that was given of Kawhi Leonard, if, you know, what Paul George said is true about Kawhi being in mid-season form, because, you know, Ty Lue doesn't speak too much. Everybody else doesn't speak too much. Everybody else kind of just, you know, mumbles around it, say the right things, but never really give too much hints, you know, in regards to the situation. So, and I definitely understand that, because the Clippers stay private in what they do and how they operate. So I'm definitely on board with that. It's just always good to know what's going on as well. And if this is the case, then Clippers fans have a lot to be excited about, because the return of Kawhi Leonard it's very, very immense at this point. It's very anticipated, and along with this team, you know, not just him, this whole team is very anticipatory, you know, for anybody that wants to view them, because Right now, like I said, they got the best team in the league on paper, and that's all we can go by right now because they're not actually playing in the regular season. But this team right here is built to do a lot of great things. And when I look at, the situation with, the Clippers, they really have a great opportunity to do something really good this year because honestly, I really only believe there's possibly only really, now that I think about it, I had to think about it and sleep on it for a while and think about the situation, but there's really only about maybe two teams out the West that could really give them trouble. And I think the Warriors definitely could be one. You got to give them respect because they could win the championship. And of course, there's other teams too that they'll run into where there'll be certain matchups that don't favor the Clippers or something like that, and it might favor the other team. But the Clippers are just overly too talented for most teams in the West or the NBA to really take them out in a 7-game series. So the only other team that I possibly look at right now that I think that could give them a run possibly is, maybe a young Memphis team. They're really young, agile, ready to go. And, they got a lot of, talent on their team, Desmond Bane, a few others. But I still think the Clippers could beat them. I think it would go 6 or 7 games, with the Grizzlies, simply because the Grizzlies are tough and they gave the Warriors all they can handle last year, in the playoffs before the Warriors went on to the finals to actually win it against Boston. So I think, Memphis could be a tough team, a tough matchup for them. But I think there's some other tough teams. I'm not saying other teams can't give them a run or anything like that, but I do think that those are the two that would give them the most of a run in regards to, their road to the championship. So the Clippers definitely need to, build that chemistry. They definitely need to, play together and be as healthy as possible so the chemistry can get built. And there again, you want those young guys coming off the bench that had an opportunity last year because Kawhi and PG wasn't relevant. You got those young guys on there, the Brandon Boston, Amir Coffey and those guys, Luke Kennard, Terrence Mann. They're coming off the bench with a purpose, you see what I'm saying? And, either it's going to be Reggie or John Wall coming off the bench too, possibly, because I think Ty Lue just said last week or a little bit less than that, there's a competition for the starting point guard spot between Reggie and John Wall. So you have one of them coming off the bench too. So, the bench mob is going to be huge for the Clippers. And I'm definitely looking at Brandon Boston Jr. to possibly be the Clippers' Jordan Poole, which, that's who's on the Warriors. But I feel like he can play the role of a Jordan Poole possibly if he gets comfortable enough and he gets the minutes, to play at that high level if he's given the opportunity. I definitely think Brandon Boston can be like a secret weapon for them, and I definitely see a lot of big things for him, going forward and everything like that. So I think, like I said, it could be a great season all the way around for this team because with all the depth that they have, even though Kawhi is coming off the injury and everything, he really doesn't have to do but so much because if John Wall can provide anything or at least 60-70% of what he was, it's only going to make them even more versatile. And like I said, it'll make it where it'll be a lot of nights where Kawhi and PG really don't have to score a lot of points because they got enough scoring from everywhere else. They can, take some games off where maybe not take games off, but, play there might be some games this upcoming season where you'll see them play 3 quarters and sit down in the 4th quarter because they might have a insurmountable lead against the other team where they could just sit back and rest the rest of the night and coast through it and move on to the next game. And little things like that go a long way with a player's body, who puts their body through a lot, which is, any sports player, any athlete does that. But if you're putting your body through a lot, any little bit of rest always helps. So I'm definitely hoping that that's the case for the Clippers and they have the opportunity to, sit Kawhi and PG some, get them rested. Also, while they're going through the season and going through the nuances of the season because it'll help them in the long run to be fresh for the playoffs. And that's what you want because you want the Clippers to go all out in the playoffs. Leave it all on the floor, play, have fun, leave it on the floor, play even keeled, and play like you're desperate and you want to win. You see what I'm saying? So if they play like that and build that chemistry with Ty Lue, which what he's teaching them and implementing to them, the young guys, getting them more acclimated with how the culture is there, this team could do good things. But as I said before, I still think they could use another big man. But we'll see what Moses Brown does, if he can step up behind Zubac, because, when you're playing against somebody like Jokic or somebody like that in a 7-game series, that can be a difficult series for the Clippers too if Zubac doesn't play to the ability that a lot of people think that he can, because Jokic is just going to kill Zubac every time. So if you have some mixing up, you can throw in there different bodies, different looks at Jokic. Maybe that can, throw him off some to where it can be an advantage for the Clippers. So like I said, certain matchups can bother the Clippers, but overall the Clippers' talent and, how they're built, and with Ty Lue being the coach, I don't see them losing to really hardly anybody in a 7-game series, because they just got all the talent they need, and they got the type of coach now, which they didn't have in Doc Rivers a few years ago, that is good at making changes and, experimenting with lineups and, making adjustments. So with that being said, and having one of the top players on the planet, if he's healthy, in Kawhi Leonard, you have a great opportunity, not a good opportunity. You have a great opportunity with him and PG and the rest of this crew to go out there and take the championship away from anybody else who's trying to get it. And that's pretty much where the Clippers are. So I really hope Kawhi is really looking like he's in mid-season form, because they're going to need that, and they're going to need all what PG has, and they're going to need all of what everybody has to make a collective season for them to go out there and ultimately, win the championship. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos if you haven't. And hey, KAWHI out.